Hello there, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. If you've not been here before, my name is Ash, and I'm your host on this journey of exploration into men's style, self-development, and personal grooming. And you join me in the United Kingdom in springtime. Although, to be honest, you wouldn't think it today because it's cool, it's windy, and it's not at all a warm and cheering experience. But it is the transition between winter and summer. And it's that time of year where we put away our winter warmers, those tweeds and flannels, and we think about those chinos and linen clothing, which will be the difference between the warm and the cool times of year for many of us gents. And it's the time where we think about shopping to fill the gaps in our wardrobe that we may have for those new seasonal clothes. So today I'm going to talk to you about my top 5 tips for men's shopping success. Now, like many men, shopping for me is a bit of a chore. You know, none of us really enjoy going around the stores to get the necessary things that we need to look our very best. And for me, I can trace it back to when I was a child growing up in the valleys of South Wales, and on a Saturday afternoon my parents would pile us into the car as a family. We'd head off to the nearby cities of either Swansea or Cardiff, and we'd go to all those department stores like Marks and Spencer's, Debenhams, British Home Stores. You'll be familiar with those names if you're British. And if I was lucky, I'd get to stay in the toy section looking at the toys while my mum and dad went about the family shopping business. And it wasn't a great deal of fun, and it's kind of stuck in my mind, and I don't really enjoy shopping too much. It's a different story for the ladies, of course, because they can make a day trip out of shopping. It's a thing of joy and pleasure for most of the women folk who will meet up with a friend, they'll try on many items, and they'll get a kick out of the shopping experience. But for us men, it's a necessary evil. It's something we need to get through, and let's talk about how we can improve that situation. Now, my first tip for getting the most out of your shopping experience is to have a good vision about what you want to look like at the end of your shopping trip. So what are you shopping for? What do you want to look like? Get that thought in your mind. Do the research up front. Look on Pinterest, look at the types of ensembles of clothes that you intend to put together with your shopping trip. If you've got a good idea, a good vision of the end result before you embark on your shopping quest, you're far more likely to both enjoy the trip and find it more productive in the long run. So put the time in advance, look through the magazines, Gentleman's Quarterly or whatever you read, look online to get an idea of where you're heading. That way your journey will be more enjoyable. Now, my second tip follows on directly from that first one of the vision, and that is to make a list. Because when you've done the research and you know what you want to look like, then it's time to stand in front of the wardrobe and see what's missing from your collection of clothing that you need to get to that end destination. Stand there and physically write it out. Make a list. I need a pair of khaki chino trousers, or I need a pink shirt. You make that list, and then you embark upon your shopping journey equipped with exactly what you need to get. Because one of the worst things in the world to do is to go shopping with no actual idea of what you want to purchase. That way you're sort of washing around until something catches the eye, or you see something which may or may not form part of your goal vision. So make a list. That way you'll be a lot more focused about what you need to get, where you will go to get it, the shops where these things are, and that way positivity, a better result lies ahead. Now, my next tip follows very closely on the heels of those first two, and that's when you go shopping, when you get there, you've done the preamble, you've done the research, you've made your list. Now it's time to be disciplined. When you get to the stores, adopt a disciplined mentality. When you go in, go for what you intend to purchase. If you go into the store and you intend to buy a pink shirt, but when you walk in you see a sales rack with blue shirts half price, well, you can find yourself very quickly being seduced towards those discounted blue shirts, even though when you walked in it was not your intention to buy a blue shirt whatsoever. You wanted a pink shirt, but already that 50% off, it sucked you in. Before you know it, you'll be walking out with that blue shirt in a bag, and you'll have forgotten the pink shirt until you get home, and it'll be, damn, I didn't get what I intended. And then you'll end up having to make another trip back to the store, and you bought something else. Again, you've doubled the cost of what you intended to buy because you've bought two things. So discipline, strong focus, that's where you'll buy what you want. Now my next tip number 4, is don't buy anything until you're 100% certain that it's the right item for you. Alright, so we've taken everything else into account that we've already spoken of. Now we've got the garment that we're thinking about buying in front of us. First of all, remember, fit is king. Try it on, see how it looks. If you've gone shopping with a friend, associate, relative, whatever, ask them, how does it look? Even ask them to take a photograph of you wearing it from different angles so that you can see how it would look from a different perspective. Because that fit is king. Now, don't forget, things can be tailored. So if you buy things that are a little bit too large, there can be nips and tucks put in to make it perfect for you. But, within the boundaries of reasonable. So don't be buying things which are massive or too tight. Try and get things which fit you off bat as well as you possibly can. Secondly, know your measurements before you leave the house. This is going to make the whole shopping experience a lot easier for you. So make sure you know your chest size, your arm size, your waist size, all of those measurements which are likely to be important, so that when you're scanning for clothing, looking at the racks, or asking a sales agent for a particular item in a certain size, you know what you're talking about and you know the size that's going to fit you. And finally, don't buy it unless you love it. If you try something on and it's meh, it's not the right item. Remember, life is too short to wear items that you don't love. So try it on, see how it makes you feel. If you love it, buy it. And finally, we've talked about going to stores to buy things, but the reality is more and more of us will be turning to online purchases to fulfill our wardrobe requirements as we go forwards. There are many made-to-measure online tailors, or just normal buying experiences that can be achieved using the internet. Become familiar with using the internet to fulfill your wardrobe requirements. Don't be afraid to look online, because the world is suddenly your oyster. In the past, you could only really purchase from stores which you could travel to. Now, you can make a purchase from stores on the other side of the world. They can ship to you in a couple of days, couple of weeks, whatever it may be. If it's made to order, they can make items which will fit you perfectly. So it is well worth realizing that the global world is at your fingertips if you seek to be a well-dressed gentleman and you're prepared to get into online purchasing. Don't be afraid to make those purchases. Become familiar with returning items. You can buy things, if they don't fit, return them. Get to know how to do these things, the return policies of the bigger companies. Get comfortable with it, because this is going to be the way forward. And there are many advantages to doing so. If you think about all the things you don't like about shopping, going to the store, having to deal with pushy sales agents, having loads of people around you, waiting in line to try something on in the changing rooms. Those things are non-existent when it comes to buying online. Not to mention the fact that, the certain colour that you want might be sold out in the store. Again, if you use the internet to make a purchase, They're never going to be sold out. There's going to be one somewhere that you can track down, and you can get really good prices, search out for discounts and deals. You know, it's going to be such a better place to be an intentionally well-dressed person as we go forward. Don't forget, know your measurements when it comes to making your online orders. As we said earlier, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. And you can even shop ethically. The world has got many more opportunities for you. If you want to make sure that you purchase from certain places or avoid other parts of the world where human rights are disregarded in the manufacturing processes, you can make those choices because you've got more choice to make. So there we go. Don't forget, look at the internet as a great alternative to shop well. Well, I hope you've been able to take at least something from our top 5 tips for shopping success. If you have, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and leave me a comment in the comments section below. I really love to hear from you. Well, until the next time, take care of yourselves, look good, look sharp, and I'll see you very soon.